Can't Stop Lying, because he can see my soul, bless his heart, saw this one clip and presented it to me because he knew that the title would drive me nuts, which is, of course, this is Larry Kudlow, in case you don't know what melted ice cream looks like. Larry Kudlow, you can't make this up. Okay, first of all, yes, you can. Don't lay off your uncreative impulses on me. Just because you lack imagination does not mean I couldn't. I can make up anything. I might not choose to sometimes, but it's not for lack of ability. It's a matter of fact, it's a reflection of so much ability. I'm busy imagining other things. Don't limit my ability to make believe. And especially when you're on Fox Business, where all they do is make shit up. The funniest show on television right now, besides any Trump interview, is Larry Kudlow telling us that the world is crashing over a 34,000 Dow. That's hilarious. You know what I mean? As this keeps going up, as, you know, like literally as the stock ticker goes by and it's painfully normal, as the everybody's indexes went down because of the crypto they had bought instead of the stocks they had purchased. Like, come on. So this is incredibly dull. The reality that he's like, the sky is falling. And there's literally people with kites and stuff going, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So, so this, I mean, that bugs the shit out of me. Though you can't make this stuff up. Whenever anybody says, you could make this stuff up. You can't make this up. Yes, I can. Damn it. Hype train. I can make up anything. Come up with another phrase. All right. So, Kudlow, what can't I make up? Let's see.
McConnell's red line would seem...
Okay, hold on. I got to turn this idiot up. Hold on.
...to rule out this compromise from Team Biden. Let us hope so. My pal Steve...
by the way, what compromise? Non-compromise compromise? Asshat, they're not going to vote for the thing they asked for anyways. They're going to go, hey, you know how you want to do $2 trillion? We'd like to do 600 to 800 billion. Okay, will you vote for it? No. They're going to vote against it lockstep. They're not arguing this in good faith. What are you calling about non-compromise compromise? They're the ones not compromising.
Steve Miller.
60% of Republican voters like the idea of the infrastructure bill at $2.25 trillion.
Is going to be here in a moment or two to weigh in, but I got to get.
Oh, really? Stephen, which Stephen Miller?
To the second bullet today, which is
the rock star or the guy who looks like Nosferatu.
Really something. President Biden put out an executive order on climate change that basically would let the government do virtually anything.
Basically, I love when it's not like it's a business challenge. Basically, it would let him do what? What would it basically let him do? Hold on. Run it by me again.
That basically would let the government do virtually anything in any part of the economy or the financial markets or labor markets or agriculture or anything in the name of mitigating risk climate changes.
Okay, so this is the premise. That the Biden executive order says that they basically can do anything in any of the aforementioned sectors, right? In the name of mitigating climate change. They can do anything. Shock troops. They can roll in tanks and blow up chemical factories. They can hold a gun to your head while you're standing on a car lot and make you buy a reformed diesel car that runs on French fry oil. They can do anything, right? That's the premise. Basically, it lets them do anything in any of these markets. Anybody, hands up if you think this is true. If this is even remotely close to real. If this isn't just an enormous, seething, steamy pile of horse shit. Right.
Now, I haven't read the full executive order.
Son of a bitch. I'm sorry, what?
risk climate changes. Now, I haven't read the full executive order. Not
No, you haven't? No, you haven't. Yeah, no. So you haven't. No, you haven't. So you haven't read it, but you're telling us what's basically. So you have never read something, but you have the ability to summarize its contents in full. By the way, everybody, if you're getting your financial advice from this man, understand that he skims all the financial information in his life the exact same way.
Not yet, but I intend to.
Oh, yeah? Do you intend to before you go off on it?
But for now, folks, you just have to trust me on this.
Why? I don't have to trust you. I can fucking read it. All right, look. Hold on. Let's see. White House. Give me 1 second. White House. Climate change executive order. Let's get. Let's see. Is it even? Can I even find it myself, or do I just have to trust Larry Kudlow? Let's see. All right. So there's the. Now, are there two of them? Hold on. Biden, climate, executive order. Let's see. Executive order on climate-related financial risk. Here it is. Okay, so there are two climate-related ones, and this basically, let's see if this basically lets them do anything before Larry proceeds. By the authority vested in me as a president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1, policy. The intensifying impacts of climate change presented such as increased extreme weather risk. Later, okay, this is the why. Failure of financial institutions to appropriately and adequately account for and measure these physical transactional risks threatens the competitiveness of U.S. companies and markets, life-saving pensions of the workers, okay, blah, blah, federal and conducting prudent fiscal arrangement. It is therefore the policy of my administration to advance consistent, clear, intelligible, comparable, and accurate disclosure of climate-related financial risk consistent with Executive Order 13707 of September 15, 2015, which is basically going back to something the Obama administration had. Using behavioral science insights to better serve the American people, including both physical and transition risks, act to mitigate that risk and its drivers while accounting for and addressing disparate impacts on disadvantaged communities of color, and spurring creation of well-paying jobs. Okay, how are they going to do this? Climate-related financial risk strategy. The Assistant to the President for Economic Policy and Director of the National Economic Council, Director of National Economic Council, and the Assistant to the President, okay, yes, we know that, and, shall develop, within 120 days of the date of this order, a comprehensive government strategy regarding A, the measurement, assessment, mitigation, and disclosure of climate-related financial risk to federal government programs, assets, and liabilities in order to increase the long-term stability of federal operations. So this only deals with federal contractors or federal expenditures, okay? Financing needs associated with achieving net zero. Again, I guarantee he'll talk to it about it in terms of zero greenhouse gas emissions instead of net zero. They don't seem to have the ability to comprehend the difference between totally wiping out carbon emissions from the earth and zeroing out, adding no amount that they don't take out somewhere else. No later than 2050, limiting global average temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius, adapting to the acute and chronic impacts of climate change. Areas in which private and public investment can play. Excuse me. We're using UN shock troops to enforce this. We're not using phrases like can play, will play, must play, click, clack, complementary roles in meeting these financing needs while advancing economic opportunity. What? While advancing economic opportunity, worker empowerment, and environmental mitigation, especially in disadvantaged communities and communities of color. 3, assessment of climate-related financial risk by financial regulators. And further, for the Secretary of Treasury, Chairman of the Financial Secretary, okay, shall the FOC members consider the following: assessing assessing in detailed and comprehensive manner the climate-related financial risk, including both physical and transition risk to the financial stability of the federal government and the stability of U.S. financial system, facilitating the sharing of climate-related financial risk data and information among FSOC members, agencies, and other executive departments, issuing a report to the president. Oh my God, a report. This ends with a report. Within 180 days of the date of this order, any efforts of the FSOC, I'm speeding, member agencies to integrate, climate necessity of actions to enhance climate-related disclosures by regulated entities to mitigate climate-related financial risk to the financial system or assets. I don't see this part where there's a gun to the head of farmers making them buy Tesla tractors. Any current approaches to incorporating the consideration of climate-related financial risk to the respective regulatory and supervisory activities and any impediments faced in adopting those approaches. Okay, what with their problem? Secretary of Treasury shall, here it comes, direct the Federal Insurance Office to assess climate-related issues or gaps in the supervision and regulation of insurers, such as parts of the FSOC's analysis of financial stability, and further assess in consultation with states. Oh, in consultation with states? When are we asking the states what they want to do? This is an imperial federalist structure created by Democrats who are trying to push the whole country into Marxist, socialist, totalitarian, transgender farming. How are we consulting with the states? The potential for major disruptions of private insurance coverage in regions of the country particularly vulnerable to climate change impacts. Oh, you mean the whole part where they're insuring areas that are going to be flooded in the next 10 years and there's nothing we can do about it? Direct the Office of Finance, because a glacier the size of Manhattan just dislodged from the Arctic. Resilience of life savings and pensions. What? In furtherance of policy set forth in Section 1 of this order, consistent with the labor shall identify agency actions that can be taken under the Employee Retirement Income Security Act, the Federal Employees Retirement Act of 1986, and any other. This is now they're just trying to bore me to death. Consider publishing by September 2021 for notice and comment a proposed rule to suspend, revise, and rescind financial factors in select plan investments consider publishing. Oh my God, the considerance of publishing. Thank you, Treva. Thank you. Thanks, Martha. Yeah, don't forget to smash the like, give a thumbs up for the speed reading I'm doing. This is horrifying. They consider publishing somewhere around September of this year for notice and comment a proposed rule to suspend, revise, and rescind. Assess. Consistent with the Secretary of Labor's oversight responsibilities under the Federal Employees Retirement System Act of 1986 and in consultation with the Director of National Economic Council and the National Climate Advisor, how the Federal Retirement Thrift Investment Board has taken environmental, social, and governmental factors, including climate change and financial risk, into account. And within 180 days of this date of order, submit to the President through the Director of Economic Council and the National Climate a report on the actions taken pursuant to subsections A, B, and C of this section. It's exhausting. Federal lending, underwriting, procurement. In furtherance of policy set forth, the Director of OMB, Director of National Economic Council, especially risk relates federal. Okay, so they're not going to lend money to cities that are going to be underwater. They're going to spend all their money on the flyover states, and the flyover states are going to get pissed about it. Ensure that major federal agency procurements, meaning they buy shit, they buy land or build a new military base or a runway and stuff. They're not building it where there's going to be 2 feet of water in 10 years. And then, of course, that they're not causing it to be under 2 feet of water. Oh, here comes Secretary of Agriculture. This was it, guys. I was wrong. Here we go. The Secretary of Agriculture, the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, and the Secretary of Veterans Affairs shall consider approaches to better integrate climate-related financial risk into underwriting standards, loan terms and conditions, and asset management and servicing procedures as related to their federal... as part of the agency of climate action plans required by Section 211 of Executive Order 14008 of January 27, 2021. That's this one, by the way. Let's see, where was I? Oh, yeah. And consistent with the interim instructions for the climate action plans issued by the Federal Chief Sustainability Officer, heads of agencies must submit to the Director of OMB the National Climate Task Force and the Federal Chief Sustainability Officer actions to integrate climate-related financial risk into their respective agencies' procurement process, subject to changes to the far rising executive order establishing a federal flood risk management. This is all what this is about, for Christ's sake. Yeah, read it fast like the Micro Machines, dude. Yeah. You guys can understand, your brain can absorb these words at this speed, even if you're not catching everything that I'm saying, technically speaking. Okay. Let's see. Executive Order 13690 of January 30th, 2015, establishing a federal flood risk management standard and process for further soliciting and considering stakeholder input. A federal flood risk management standard, FFRMS. Thank God we have an acronym for that now. It's now, henceforth, I will refer to as was established to address current and future flood risk and ensure the projects, hence the name of with taxpayer dollars, last as long as intended. Subsequently, the order was revoked by Executive Order 13807. Gee, who did that? Who revoked the flood management rules? What president was dumb enough to do that? Establishing discipline and accountability in the environmental review and permitting process for infrastructure projects. Executive Order 13690 is hereby reinstated, therefore reestablishing the guidelines for implementing executive order. Okay, so they're basically just putting stuff back. Long-term budget outlook. Broad exposure to increased costs and lost revenue. So look into that. Director of OMB. This is all government purchases. Now here's the part that I'm certain that Larry Kudlow will either fall asleep into his gin or just avoid reading because it blows a hole in his narrative. Section 7, general provisions. Nothing in this order shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect the authority granted by law to an executive department agency or the head thereof, the functions of the director of the Office of Management and Budget relating to budgetary, administrative, legislative. This order shall be implemented consistent with applicable law and subject to the availability of appropriations. This order is not intended to and does not create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable or at law or in equity by any party against the United States, its departments, agencies, or entities, its officers, employees, agents, or any other person. The damn Section 7 always throws a big monkey wrench in all these executive orders, man. But please, Larry, tell us how this is dictatorial.
This, because I read the two.
There might be an issue with Super Chat, guys. PayPal.me/HalSparks, or use the Venmo. So yeah, I don't have my Venmo image up, do I? Where is that guy? Why is that? Hold on one second. Let me fix that. I don't know where it went. That's very strange. Add existing. Where's the here's the Venmoing. Okay. Ooh, hello, I'm moving around. It must have just failed or something. That's very weird. All right, we'll turn that off. Turn that off. Create a new one. Nah, we'll wait. You guys will figure it out. You can always like and subscribe on, some people can super chat just fine. I've seen a couple of them. So if you're having issues, I don't quite know what that is. We've had some attacks lately. That might be that. If not, please think about becoming a patron. That's a regular thing you can do. Patreon.me/HalSparks. Thanks for that. Yeah, it's Venmo.com/HalSparks or PayPal.me/HalSparks is a great way to do it. Thank you very much. And I'll get a little ping on my watch when that happens, which is lovely in the middle of the show. No fossil fuel money. Look at this. And some dude wearing a hippie beanie. Look at this. And then there's some dude's hair that matches Larry's tie. But Larry will tell us why we should fear this.
Two-page fact sheet. And it is a thing to behold. Honestly, I recommend everyone read this thing. 2 or 3 minutes max it'll all take, but you got
Yeah, it takes a lot less time than actually reading the fucking EO.
To go through this. It's got all the far left, Green New Deal, climate change, destroy fossil fuels, destroy capitalism, destroy
No, it doesn't.
Jobs in the economy. It's all in there.
Is it? Is it? Do you think you might want to read it before you say some bullshit like that, Lawrence? Huh? Larry, you drunk, son? There is no point in this where the federal government chooses where to spend its money on things that will not wreck the United States and essentially wipe out all of our coastal cities, cause flooding through the center of the country, and lead to more tornadoes and freezing temperatures in the winter.
Everything a little lefty greenie could possibly hope for. Now, they will sleep with...
Everything? No. I love that you're putting these guys... By the way, is that recycled cardboard? Because I'm going to be very disappointed.
Smiles on their faces tonight. But I don't have the time to go through it all. I just want...
Really? Because I almost did.
I want you to enjoy it over cocktails and dinner this evening. It is a thing to behold. But I'll give you a couple hints that's in here. Extreme weather, deprived communities of food, water, emergency supplies, offline power grids, floods, rising sea levels, homes, businesses, signing a loan for a new home, managing life savings in a retirement fund, infrastructure, investments, whole of government.
Taking out the conjunctions and all the context therein, you seem like you're reading like anti-Biden refrigerator poetry magnets that just fell on the floor.
Approach, financial regulators, resilience of life savings, modernized federal level. And here's the one that is
modernized federal level. Dude, I was speed reading the fucking thing and I made fewer mistakes than you reading like key phrases out of a teleprompter.
Especially fun. Reduce the risk of climate change to the federal budget. I love that. In other words, kids, $6 trillion is just the tip of the melting iceberg. Folks, you know I'm right because nobody could make this up.
I don't know what the fuck you're saying. Seriously. Was there a sentence there? Let's go back. What?
In other words, kids, $6 trillion.
Hold on, back up.
Reduce the risk of climate change to the federal budget.
Okay, that's in there. That seems to be the primary focus of the entire thing, which is if climate change is happening, how do we spend our money as in the federal government, taxpayer dollars, to mitigate climate change, not make it worse? And how do we also choose where we build things and how we build things so that they're not destroyed by the elements of climate we have no control over? You know, adult shit. But listen to what the fuck his follow-up is.
I love that. In other words, kids, $6 trillion is just the tip of the melting iceberg. Folks, you know I'm right because nobody could make this up. It's going to help restrain the budget. $6 trillion. Wow, here it comes. That's just the tip of that little melting iceberg. Now,
dude, he doubled back and read the same piece in his teleprompter twice. I still don't know what the fuck he said.
In this show, we have had physicists and energy experts like Steve Koonin and Mark Mills and Bjorn Lomborg and others. They have stated factually with numbers why none of this stuff is an existential crisis or an existential threat.
Right. It should come as no surprise that a former member of the Trump White House and his primary economic advisor doesn't believe climate change is affected by human endeavors, thinks it's all a lie, and thinks we don't play a part in it, brings on guests to shore up that idea who are in an incredibly small minority in the scientific community, a largely paid for minority, by the way. And their argument seems to be, fuck it. Who cares? I mean, it's not, their argument is it's not happening, and if it is happening, it's not our fault. That's it. That's essentially.
Okay, now look, yes.
All right, yes, what? Yes, what?
There are climate issues. I am not a climate denier.
You just said that. You literally said it's not an existential threat. I'm not a climate denier. I look outside, I see sky.
But the point is, the impact of these issues, according to these experts, is minimal. To wit, on the economy.
So what's going to happen? That we build things stronger than they need to be built?
100.
Here's a question, asshole. Talk to me about how many children are sent to the emergency room every year with breathing-related issues because of pollution, not because of climate, not because of some exaggerated long-term effect over 10 years or whatever that you have to kind of understand or contemplate, but literally just the shit coming out of gas pipes, just out of the exhaust pipes of a gas-driven car. What is it? What part of that don't you understand? Chemical plants, lead paint, toxic lead exposure.
Of a percentage point slower growth over the next 90 years. That's it. And this is according to official government documents. Every time we go through
official government documents that he was a participant in crafting
this, and every time we invite our guests on, we get slammed for days on end by the left-wing bloggers and tweeters, and they scream at these people.
No, Larry. No, you don't. Like, I'm only covering this because of the title of this video. Nobody gives a fuck what you think. Seriously. This is the least watched show on Fox Business. Like, Maria Bartiromo makes this look like the McLaughlin group.
People, they scream at me, they scream at our network, and
yeah, they don't scream. They just go, oh, these assholes again.
Everybody else that I've met in my entire lifetime. You know what, folks?
Really? Everyone you ran into screaming at everyone, and that's not hyperbole? It's not that you're just essentially weak and you know your position is weak and therefore any criticism feels like screaming?
I'm proud of it. Sincerely proud of it. Because somebody's got to stand to thwart history and just say no. We are
stand and thwart history? What? Wait 1 second. What was that phrase?
You know what, folks? I'm proud of it. Sincerely proud of it. Because somebody's got to stand to thwart history and just say no. We are not going to bring down our entire capitalist market free enterprise system, nor our values, nor our workforce, nor our international standing, because of a bunch of fact-free assertions which at best, indicate minor and quite manageable problems in the many years ahead.
Finally tonight.
Well, then what do you have to worry about? All these are proposals, and with guideposts. If the temperature doesn't change, we start tapping away from that. And fossil fuels themselves directly pollute our environment, so moving away from them won't harm us in time. As a matter of fact, the quicker we get to long-range batteries, the ability to solar charge, more efficient solar panels and the like, geothermal as a way for the middle states to heat and cool every possible and provide energy for their states. Why does moving to that quicker somehow lessen our ability to be competitive in the world? If oil never existed, would we have never invented anything? Would there be no washing machines if we didn't have, decimated dinosaurs to burn? Christ. Well, okay, so anyways, yeah, you can make this stuff up. He just did.